is going to be STX Seoul versus Woongjin Stars. This is week 2 of Pro League, the second match of the week. Last night we had, Team 8 versus Air Force Ace. Which I guess I won't spoil the result of that in case anybody hasn't watched that yet. If you haven't, then go watch it, I guess. Having said that, any of you who are keeping up with the threads on Team Liquid know that there have been some issues with the VODs. Yeah, International Esports Group has suddenly appeared out of nowhere and claimed copyright on this season's Pro League. So all the YouTube VODs, like from my channel, from the Vake, they've all been taken down. And we're still sorting those things out. Do not panic, do not panic. As you can see, there are still VODs to be had, just not from your regular sources. So for the time being, I'm actually going to start uploading all of my VODs to Blip TV rather than YouTube. I know it's probably a little bit less convenient, but that's all I can do. Because I do want to keep my actual channel open so that I can keep uploading the foreigner events. Anyway, and note these. This is actually not a bootleg VOD. This is actually apparently an official VOD from the Esports TV channel, which I think is affiliated with the IEG or something. I don't know. Either way, they seem to get the VODs up in good time, so that's quite nice. Unfortunately, the aspect ratio, as you can see, seems to be slightly stretched. I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. But anyway, we are going into set number 1. It is going to be a ZVZ Calm for STX Seoul versus ZerO for Woongjin Stars. A ZVZ to start off the day on Chain Reaction. And Calm will be the blue Zerg at the 3 o'clock position. ZerO, the orange Zerg on the left side. And, excuse me, I'm still a little bit sick, so various coughing and sniffling may occur during the cast. If it gets too serious, I'll try and mute myself. So now that the game has started, I'm gonna start up this Terran music. Alright, that was one of the suggestions I got in my English commentary thread, was that it would be nice to have some brutal music in the background. So I just loaded up a YouTube playlist of Terran themes, and hopefully that'll suffice. But yeah, if you have any other suggestions about the cast or whatnot, just post it in the English commentary thread, or you can send me a PM on TL if you want to be particularly offensive and you don't want to get banned. You can tell me nasty things in a PM, or nice things. Either one. So there's ZerO, looking pretty serious. ZerO, of course, one of my favorite players of all time, next to Stork, just because of his queen usage. He is a big proponent of using queens in really all matchups. Even ZVZ, he's got a pretty sick hive level ZVZ, which is not something you see too often. Anyway, looks like an Overlord first for ZerO here. And that looks like it's going to be a 12 hatch for Calm, unless it's a 9 hatch, but that's extremely unlikely. I didn't actually pay attention to if he made a second Overlord. I would assume that he did. And okay, so ZerO sent a drone to his natural and then changed his mind and went for a 12 pool? Is that what just happened? I think that's just what happened. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so that's okay, so ZerO is going for a 12 full expand. It's a very safe standard build, but against a 12 hatch of Calm, that's somewhat of a build order disadvantage. I'm still a little bit uncertain about this, whether this is actually a 12 hatch. I'm 99% sure, but you know, after all the wrong calls I made in ZVZs, I'm now I have this fear, this paranoia of miscalling ZVZs. Seriously, I have nightmares at night where I'm just in the middle of a cast and everything's going fine, and then suddenly it's a ZVZ and I have no idea what I'm talking about. And I end up actually no, I'm not gonna go there. I was gonna make comparisons to certain SC2 casters who are lacking in the game knowledge. But anyway, Looks like we have a lair for both players. And yeah, nothing too fancy so far. Hatchery's finished for Calm. So Calm is basically let me actually talk a little about these two teams. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens. Of course ZVZ is very fast paced, so I'll probably have to interrupt myself in a second here. But STX Seoul is basically the weakest team in the season right now. Of course STX fans will tell you otherwise, but you know, realistically, they're one of the bottom teams, probably at the very least bottom two, along with Air Force Ace. And Air Force Ace is actually kind of improving recently. So their big guns are really Calm and Bogus. So Calm, of course, coming out here in set number 1, so they're leading off with a very strong player. Although apparently I didn't watch too much of last season, but from the previews, from the TL previews, it seems that he wasn't performing too amazingly. Too amazingly. Anyway, someone said I should increase the volume of the Korean guys. I don't think that's a good idea though. I don't know. I'm gonna just hold on. I'm just gonna wait and see. So looks like we have a sunken colony actually for ZerO here, even though he went for the 12 full expand and Calm had the 12 hatch. I mean, okay, so it looks like Calm has speed lings out already. ZerO's lings seem to be slow lings still. So he's just gonna play defensive here with this arc of lings. But look at this, Calm already mining his natural gas, and his Spire is about two-thirds of the way done. See, what I'm thinking is, since ZerO has a slight build order disadvantage, perhaps he would want to play a little bit more risky. But actually, it seems that he actually went for Lair before speed. That's why his Spire is a little bit ahead of Calm's, whereas Calm got the speed first. So in this case, it's actually very smart to get that sunken, play defensive with the lings. But it looks like Calm's actually going to go along the bottom here and start poking away at this extractor, and the sunken doesn't quite reach here, so he's actually forcing ZerO's lings into an engagement. That's a very nice move by Calm, but it looks like ZerO does have enough lings now to save his extractor. But do know that Calm actually started mining that natural gas quite a bit sooner than ZerO did, so he's going to have a nice gas advantage. Now let's see if he can make good use of it. One of these players actually, wait, which player? It looks like ZerO actually has a significant supply lead right now. I'm not 100% sure why. Oh no, it looks like Calm now caught up. Not quite sure what happened there. Perhaps I just misread the numbers on that overlay on the bottom right. But mutas are out for both players. That is the other guy was the STX coach. That is the Stars coach, I believe. And looks like ZerO is just poking around here with mutas and lings at the front, gonna go for the multi-pronged attack here, but I think Calm has enough to stop this. And it looks like ZerO's lings also still don't have speed, but he does have the ling advantage, and look at this! Forcing Calm's mutas to the natural to help defend, so the mutas of ZerO actually, I believe, were able to pick off an Overlord. The Observer didn't quite show that getting killed, but I think he was able to take off that Overlord, so a nice game there for ZerO. And yes, if we look at the supply counts, Calm was momentarily supply blocked there. So a slight little game, but it looks like Calm is now the one going in here, and will we see a big muta engagement? It seems that ZerO has a few more Scourge, microing down Calm's Scourge, very nice, and he actually has a ton more Scourge here. He's also on home territory, so he will be able to reinforce quite quickly, and that Overlord may even absorb a few of the bounce hits from the Muta's Glaive Worms. Anyway, looks like it's still a relatively calm game. No pun intended. Now, the interesting thing, by the way, is that sunken that ZerO has as natural is actually still quite useful. Like, even though both players are you know, on Spire Tech, making mutas and Scourge, and not really going to produce that many lings, it's still a very common tactic, and at this point in the game, for, you know, one player or the other to make just 2 or 4 lings, or just a handful of lings, and then go in with the mutas and Scourge, and then go in with the lings at the same time, and like try to pick off a drone or two while the other player is distracted by the Mutalisks. But with that sunken there for ZerO, he's basically going to have a, you know, some static defense against that kind of move, and Calm doesn't, so he's going to have to be a lot more on top of his units. But it looks like ZerO's just going to go in here with a million Scourge. Calm doing a good job microing those down, but all the while that is giving ZerO's mutas some free shots at his mutas. It looks very close. I can't really tell who's ahead right now just because of the muta clumping. I would say that Calm is actually a little bit ahead on the mutas, and indeed it looks like he's going to chase down ZerO's mutas. ZerO mutas are on the run. Of course, he made a lot more skirts that did eat into his muta numbers. And he's actually at a significant food disadvantage right now. 23 against 34, and it looks like ZerO's in a lot of trouble here. ZerO not too happy about this. Calm looking good here. Looking like he might take the first set for STX. Calm in serious mode. And is just hunting down these mutas. ZerO doing a nice job of splitting these up. And there, you see, there is the random Ling attack in the natural. But does he still not have Ling speed? That makes those Ling attacks a little bit questionable. Well, Calm now gonna go around hunting down all the overlords on the map. And yeah, sorry, I'm a little bit distracted by the stream chat. Somebody's like screaming about lag or whatnot. I don't know. I'm just gonna blame your internet. GG from ZerO and Calm, taking set number 1 here. Very, very nice. ZerO, I mean, it was a slight build order disadvantage from him. 12 pool against 12 hatch, but Calm did micro that very nicely. I mean, ZerO, oh, looks like the VOD is over. But yeah, ZerO, he made a lot of Scourge. Calm did some good anti-Scourge micro, and that was that. So let's go on to the next set, and this Terran music is really distracting. Let's pause this for a second.